Hey everyone, my name's Andrew, this is Collective Intelligence and we're making a track from start to finish. Today we are going to start fleshing out the intro and we're going to do it with some pretty typical ways of starting tracks. Now, this tutorial series is not to teach you how to be the most creative mofo on the planet. It's to just show you my thought process and my workflow when it comes to writing a track. So we're not really focused on it being the most creative thing ever, okay? So when I'm doing like pretty typical things, please don't roll your eyes. You need to learn how to do very basic stuff in the first place to become good at doing creative things. So I'm just going to copy the kick and I'm going to paste it down here onto its own channel, right? Just one kick. I'm going to put it right at the start here. And I'm going to use what they call Convolution Reverb in order to create an effect that you would have heard plenty of times before. So if you own Ableton Live, then you should be able to get, and you've got Max for Live, then you should be able to get the Convolution Reverb. And there it is there, right? So if I drag Convolution Reverb and pop it on here, it just takes a minute to load. And then here it is, right? And it's a little bit different to how other standard reverbs like the stock Ableton Reverb works. This works by actually modeling real places, and then when you put a kick into it, it kind of the reverb responds in the same way that the recording responded in that particular space, right? So let's say in this case, I know the one that I want to use Giant Basilica, right? So the idea is that they've gone into a giant basilica and they've gone clap, or they've created an impulse, and then it's rippled in reverb throughout the room, and they've recorded that reverb tail, the length and the way that the sound kind of trails off, and they've modeled it and they've put it in here, so it's going to behave the same, right? So let's go ahead and have a listen to how that kick sounds through the Convolution Reverb. And I didn't hear anything, but you guys may have, or maybe you didn't hear anything as well. So I'm just going to load this up so I can hear it. Actually, just quickly make sure that my audio settings are set up correctly for this video. Yep, cool. All right, microphones. Yep, cool. Right, so there you go. Very special, unique sound. So we're going to go kick. We're going to let that wash out. And then we're going to come into the duggers here, but we're going to be filtering the duggers. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get an auto filter. Auto filter. And yep, we want one of those ones. And we're going to say, we're going to start it around here. So let's have a listen. Yeah, that sounds great. So we'll go ahead and show the automation for that. We'll show the automation for that as well. So we've got device on there. So we'll turn it. We know that at 31, I want this. I'm going to be turning it off, right? So we'll go whack like that. The other way around, rather. So it wants to go off like that. So here, yeah. Cool. And what we're going to do is we're going to need to just quickly move most of all of this across. So what I might just quickly do is, because I've kind of gone about this in the odd way, I'm going to show you a really cool command that I really like. So I want the track to start, the kick and bass will come in full at the 33rd bar, right? And from here all the way through to there, we're probably going to have it being filtered. And I want to kind of just move all of this right across so I can start pasting in and creating a progression. So if I click the area where I want to basically move, I want to move from 17 here along, I want to move it out of the way. I'm sorry, I found that a little bit too hard to articulate. So I'm going to click here, press Control-I on my keyboard, right? So Control and I. If you're using a Mac, it's possibly Command or whatever the other FN, is it? I don't know the other button on Macs. Sorry, I'm very Apple illiterate. So anyway, I can insert time here. So what I can do is I can go, let's put in 128 bars of musical time. Boom. And now I've moved everything out of the way. Cool. And now I've got 4 minutes to play with where I can start fleshing out my arrangement, right? So maybe 32 bar intro is too long. Maybe 17 bars is better. So, you know, what I could do for that then instead is I could come here and I could right click and I could go add locator, and I'm going to put it at the 17th bar. I'm going to right click and rename it, and I'm going to call this one, you know, start, KB start, right? So kick and bass is going to start there. And then, you know, we'll right click, we'll add a locator, we'll put it there, we'll call this intro. Sweet. So we've got our intro. So now we've got the kick. And then we let it wash out. And then we've got the kick and bass starting. And the kick and bass, and we'll do more than that, don't worry, it's not going to be that bare bone. And the kick and bass will say that that's going to come all the way up. Right, and by the time it's getting to about here, we'll turn this filter on. So that's that one, so there. And we'll take the lows out of it. Sorry, we're going to have a lot of automation here. So we'll take that out to about there, right? So now there's 2 filters on. Cool, great. So that filter's slowly opening, this one's off. And if I show you all the automation, that's that one. So that's that one. And I'll automate that one off there. Cool. Cool, and we could potentially, we'll play around with that. We'll figure out how it really does go rolling into, you know, this section. So, you know, we might listen to this and go, cool, maybe we want to have like a bar of a break or something where there's no kick and bass at all, and then it comes in. That's a decision that we'll make once we've filled out the intro a bit. So now what I want to do as well is I actually want to come in here and I want to grab another kick drum, right? I want to grab that kick drum right there. I'm going to control copy, and then again I'm going to make a I'll make a new channel. So this is the verb kick, right? Now this one is rev kick. So I quite like using reversed kicks. So if I paste that in there, I think reverse kicks give a real nice injection of energy into psytrance, and they're underutilized by the amateur producer. So if I go ahead and say that's good, I'm going to reverse it by pressing R on my keyboard. So just select it, R, right? So you need to make sure that you're clicking it up here and selecting it properly. If you've got automation on, you have to be careful, because if you click down here, you know, so sometimes I just turn automation off and then can click it properly and go boom. So yeah, R will reverse a sample. If you're not using the version of Ableton that I've got, then you know, this is for people that are using Ableton 10, but if you're not, then no worries, we'll cover that as well. So down here, you click, oh shit, and you enter the, you can see the actual clip of the sample, and you've got a little reverse button there, right? So you can reverse the sample there. So there you go, enjoy. Now I'm just gonna volume fade it, right? So I don't want the zappy part of the kick. I just want the whoop. And that kick and bass filter, it's a bit slow for my liking, so still a bit slow, but you know, we'll tweak that as we go. Right, now we need to listen to some of the sounds we've made. I can't remember any of them. Alright, so it's psychedelic. Cool. All right, so something like this is going to be snaking into the track. All right, so we've got some psychedelic, watery psychedelic sounds. So we've got what? Right, so we could have that come in when the kick and bass comes in, maybe. So let's go. We need like a pad or something behind that, I feel. But anyway, we'll make that later. What's this? we can work on that sound a bit to make that a bit more interesting. Did we have another one of them that sounded better? I think we did. Yeah, that's mental. Right. That's the one I want. That's the one I want right there. I'm going to bring that over. I'll put that back. Right, so this is going to be... So... Oh, I turned it off, sorry. Right, so that'll lead into the kick and bass starting, and we'll fix that up and get it. All right. So how's this? All right, yeah, whatever. Pretty meh. We'll decide whether we use it. That's very basic. What do we got here? Well, let's use that because we're cheesy boys. So, cheesy boys and cheesy girls. And... Okay, right. Maybe we go... Yeah, mate. And then what comes next? What's this? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, let's give it a go and see what happens. That's stupid. Very basic, but starting to move somewhere at least. In a lot of cases, I find that you need to really get something down, even if it's shit, just to simply have the perspective. You just need to get an idea down on paper. All right? And some people struggle with that concept because they just want to be good from the beginning, right? They don't want to make anything that sounds mediocre. And if something sounds a bit lame and boring, they get disheartened straight away. So, well, come on, man. Be a little bit more realistic. You got to put all the shitty ideas down so you can get to the good ones. So, and the more ideas that you try, the more likely you are to stumble across something actually pretty great. So, there's a little bit of a tip for you. Let's have a listen. Okay, cool. So now here, that was not on correctly. So let's give that a go. Might put one more kick there just to keep that, and keep it filtered. Right, there we go, into the kick, and what we need is we want another one of these boys, reverse kick. Alright, reverse kick over there, thanks mate. And I made a copy of that, by the way. I clicked on it, and then I dragged it, and then I hold control, and you see the little plus icon that comes up over my cursor. That means that I'm going to move it and make a copy, right? I'm not going to move the original. That's moving the original, right? Control Z to go back. Move the original, hold control, adds a plus, let the mouse go, boom. Right, consolidate that. I'm just going to draw that out a bit longer. All right, then what do we got? What do we got? What are we working with here? Crazy guy. That could be all right. So let's give that a shot. But that's not right, so let's give that a shot. I'm not a big fan of that. Seems a bit forced. We could just try that. Very sort of straightforward but simple approach. Why are these not falling into place? It's not long enough for my taste. My taste requires longer cymbals. Am I making this more difficult than it needs to be? Possibly. Don't we all do that in our own special little way? Seems really quiet. No. Is kind of cool, but not really. I want a big foom there. How am I going to make a foom? That's the question. We need, I feel like we'd need a sample for that. What about if I did, I'm going to try to do that, the foom with some white noise. And if the foom ends up to be a failure, then we'll have to forget it. I'm going to use a bit of white noise, and I'm going to use a bit of a filter, and I'm going to use a bit of reverb, a little bit, just a tiny little bit of reverb. And I'm going to go like this, and I'm just going to see what happens. Okay, so now, in order to be a foom, I feel like it needs to be very quick. It needs to be like that guy. Right. So we got a fairly pissy little. That's not what we want. We want a. If you remember what I was saying earlier, there's some there. But how do we achieve it? Let's try. Like, so I'm just kicking shit here, guys. So let's. Like, usually I'd open up Contact and I'd find an impact and I'd be like, oh, sweet, an impact. Reverse it. There you go. That's how you do a hum. What do I have any impacts? The problem if I go and use a sample is you guys are going to be like, Andrew, I don't have the sample. And then my response to that would be like, well, guys, don't make exactly the same thing as me. Go and find it. So I'm just having a conversation. Come on. That one is the only one that gives me any hope. Well, I mean, that one. Right, so we got it reversed. Okay, well, we just want it to be very short little foom. So can we do this and then go like that and turn that one off? Yeah, I mean, something like that is kind of what I had in mind. Maybe a bit shorter and then no little weird thing at the end. And that reverb really does suck for what I'm imagining. So we'll take the convolution reverb, we'll copy that, we'll paste it, we'll put it on there. Now, like, guys, just go and find an impact sample and reverse it like I did, right? Like, what? Why you no work? Real places, giant basilica. Okay, let me pull in a new version of it then, if it doesn't like being copied and pasted. How is it like that? Okay, that's okay. And then what if I do that? All right, it's happy now. I like that. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it 8 times. Now there's a lot of bottom end there, guys. We really can't have that. Right, now what if we just distort it just a little bit? You know, maybe a lot, but a little bit. Okay, that's too much. That's too much. I like that. Now we try before the reverb. Does it change the sound? That's good. Cool. I'm happy. All right. So then let's go back. Let's listen. All right. Well, I'm going to do one last thing and it's going to make you all go, whoa. So Max for Live again. So this series is for people that have Ableton Live. And I'm very sorry if you do not have Ableton Live like legitimately and have access to what I'm about to use. But this is a granulator and it's free with Max for Live, and Max for Live comes with Ableton Live Suite. Now, if you don't have Suite and you don't have like the other things, yeah, again, I'm sorry. But just soak up what I'm doing and know that granular synthesis is a thing. So I've loaded a new channel and I've put this granulator on it, right? And the granulator I can then load a sound into. I can put that inside of there, right? And if I draw a big long MIDI note, lets me, you know, granulate the sound. So if I turn the original off, and I'm just dealing with this one, right? I've got this. I've got can do some cool stuff. And then if I give it a bit of a delay, right? So I'm just gonna go something like this. Come on, put a point there, and I'm gonna bring, like, let's just say that's interesting. Okay. Just gonna listen to it. Right. Okay, I don't know whether we need that reverse symbol. It just goes a bit mental. I turn it up really loud. I mean, we could even take that form. Nah, I mean, it gets interfered with by the and this guy. I got a feeling that I should just put a convolution reverb on a return channel and be able to route stuff into it, because I quite like that reverb a lot. So if we go on EMX log, so what's the time? It's 25 minutes. Okay, we're getting to the point of calling it a day, but I'm actually quite happy that there's a decent beginning for an intro. Okay, so if we go the yaw can go into it, right? And let's go. There you go. There's a bit of reverb for you. Whoa. And then here we're gonna do one more thing. We're gonna do one more thing. We're gonna do one more thing. We're gonna do this. We're gonna turn this one on, which is that one. And if we put our cursor there, yep, that one on. Okay, and we're gonna do it from there. And then we're gonna take that last one out, all right? And then we're doing all the things, right? We're doing all the things. So we're starting the kick and bass, we're letting it play, we're putting a reverse kick there, right? And you'll listen to the combination of all of these things in effect at the same time in a second. So that's that one. I'm just gonna bring it down, you know, just a little. Okay, right, and we're not done. We're not done. We're going to do one more thing. We're going to go Redux. I really, really like Redux, people. You should like Redux too. Oh, whoops, but not all the time. There we go. All right, let's listen to what we've done. Wait. This is gonna... What happens if we bring that in after we do that? Is it gonna sound stupid by itself, or do we... Right, let's listen. Shh. I'm gonna... Wait, I was just saying I was going to mute the microphone, and I muted it as I was saying it. I'm going to mute the microphone, turn my headphones up, we'll have a listen. And when I say turn my headphones up, I mean I've done this entire thing without being able to hear it. I'm joking. Alright, so as soon as I turn my headphones up and I actually hear like how imbalanced everything is in terms of volume, I was like, whoa, I need to fix a lot of that stuff. It doesn't matter right now, you get the idea. We do the mix at the end of the video anyway, but you know, I do want things kind of make sense in terms of volume. Now, when that comes in, I don't like the way that comes in, but I think we could do, you know, the... so if we just quickly isolate that kick and hat. So if we just do, if we just do that. Dong. If we just do this sort of thing, go boom, boom, boom. That might be all right. Let's have a listen to that again. Something like that, and then like, you know, at the end we can do like one of these fancy boy things. Like this, I reckon, something real fancy. Yeah, cool. All right, we're starting to get somewhere. Like I said, yep, volumes all over the show with some of that stuff. It's a bit loud in places, it's a bit too quiet in places, it's a bit all over the effing place. But we are making progress towards our track being a complete piece of music. And that's where we want to get things. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this was a little bit interesting. I hope it was a little bit entertaining. I hope that it keeps you wanting to come back for more. Because guess what? There's going to be more. I'll see you then.